Guys, so we are here and we're going to read a story that has to do with our sight words or our high frequency words for the week. And we're going to hear our diphthong feature for the week with that oi. And I have two vocabulary words that I want you to listen for in the story, okay? And the first of that vocabulary word is the word balance. Anyone ever hear that word before? Raise your hand if you've heard that word before, right? To balance something means for it to stay in place and not fall. For example, I can balance this coin on my fingertip, right? Maybe I can balance on one leg. Can you guys balance on one leg? What happens if something is not in balance? If I am not balanced on my one leg, what happens? I will fall. What happened to my coin? I stopped balancing it. It fell to the ground, right? Balance. So you're going to listen for the word balance and hear it in this story that I'm going to read to you, okay? And the other word is the word section, okay? So the word is section. And section is a small part of something bigger. Kind of like when we talk about fractions, right? Section. Now, section doesn't necessarily mean that it's an equal share, though, right? So if you have a section of something, it's in partitions, right? You have a whole, and it's split up into sections, okay? So let's see. I have a section, right, of my jar here that one side is for smelly markers and one side is for Sharpies and pencils, right? I have a section. I have them grouped together, but they might not necessarily be equal, right? So section. All right, guys, let's read our story. Now, the story this week is a nonfiction text, okay? This is called The Joy of a Ship. Now, let's think about what a nonfiction text is. Remember, nonfiction or informational is going to tell us about real people, real places, real events, or real things, right? It's going to be something that really happened. So it's going to give us facts, right? Things that really did happen. In this story, we are going to see some pictures, right, to go along with the words. That way it gives us a better understanding of exactly what they're talking about, right? That's what we see in nonfiction or informational texts. They're going to give facts and information about a topic. And there's often extra pictures with text also, right? When we see captions that go along with pictures that have to do more with telling us exactly what's going on, right? So the question that they want you to think about while we're listening to the story is, how do things get built? How do things get built? And the title of it is called The Joy of a Ship. Well, what do you think we're going to see getting built in this story? I bet a ship. At the bottom of it here, do you see? Ships take people and things all over the world, right? We talked about that in social studies, right? Boats and ships are one way that goods can get from one country to another, and airplanes and also trains, right? So let's find out how a ship gets made. Let's find out. What is needed to build a ship? Making ships employs many workers. This task uses lots of tools and parts as well. Let's see how a ship is made, step by step. Well, if you look at the top picture here, you see the two workers, right? Let's read the caption. These people study the plans for the ship. There are many things to do. Frame it. First, workers build a frame. The ship frame can balance on blocks up above a dock. Huge cranes hoist the big parts in place so they do not fall. Workers must avoid being bumped by these big pieces of steel. Some huge gantry cranes can lift 1,500 tons as high as 230 feet in the air. Wow. That is a hard job to do. Now, let me ask you guys something. The guys that are doing this job, are they providing a good or a service? They're providing a service of building the ship, right? They're providing their manual labor. They're doing their work, and some cranes, and they're using some cranes to do it too, right? Let's find out more. Sheets of steel. First, two kinds of metal are melted into steel. It boils. Hot steel flows into flat metal sheets and molds. Once steel gets cold, it gets hard. The steel sheets are then ready for making a ship. Look at the picture before I read the caption. Does that look like it's cold or hot? And the caption says, "Stand back! The steel is very hot." Well, if it has to get boiled so that it can melt down, it has to get crazy, crazy hot in order for it to become a liquid, right? It goes from a solid to a liquid. So it has to get crazy hot. Look at this worker here. He has on a safety mask and he has on gloves and he's protecting himself because the things are very hot. A worker joins each steel section by heating the edges, called joints. Most workers put on gloves and a helmet to protect their hands and head. So all of the different sheets that are getting melted down, and then once they're cold and ready to use, the worker puts them up on the frame of the ship that's balancing, right? And he joins them together. So there's different sections, and some might be larger and some might be smaller. Check it, paint it. Workers check all the joints. Then they point out leaks and fix them. If a joint leaks, the inside of this ship will be moist with water. It might even sink. So there cannot be any leaks, right? So it's their job to find the leaks. Then the ship is painted, and this job is done. It gleams in the sun. The workers knew it would look nice. People will pay a lot of money to ride on this ship. Out to sea. The people on dock point with joy as the new ship begins the first trip. Those on the ship wave as it glides toward the open sea. Did you know there are many kinds of ships on the sea? If you look at this top one here, that ship is called an icebreaker ship. And if you look at the picture, I bet you can figure out why it is called that. It sails in the waters either down south by Antarctica or up north, right, by the Arctic. And it sails in those really, really frigidly cold waters where glaciers and ice forms on top of the water, and it goes through and it can break apart the ice so that it can get through. Down here we see an aircraft carrier. Now an aircraft carrier, it has a very long landing strip so that planes or helicopters have a place to land while they're crossing over the sea maybe. The Navy and the Marines, they all have aircraft carriers. That way they have their pilots can come down and land. And the last one is a cargo ship. So that cargo ship is used to ship goods from one country to another across the ocean. Wow, so that was a super interesting story. Now let's listen to this comprehension check. Cause and effect. Well, we know this. A cause is how or why something happens, and an effect is what happens. Well, what causes the hot steel to get hard? First, two kinds of metal are melted into steel because it gets crazy hot, right? It boils. The hot steel flows into the flat metal sheets and molds. When steel gets cold, it gets hard. So first, the cause is that the hot steel gets cold. The effect is that the steel gets hard. A worker wears a helmet and gloves. The effect is that the worker is now safe. Another part is after they join all those sections of steel, right? There's other workers that still go make sure that there are no leaks on the ship. And if they left the leaks, or the holes, right, then the ship could get moist with water and it could cause it to sink. But they don't let that happen, right? They go and they check again. So there's, even when we're reading a non-informational text, there are those comprehension checks that we can listen for. All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed listening to that story. And I want you to do a super job practicing those OI words and our sight words. And I look forward to seeing your assignments on Seesaw. Bye, guys.